Hi, everybody. I'm back, and this time I am recording from my laptop. So you got a nice wide landscape view for once. I know I hate those videos that are like all skinny and everything. So I'll try to do this more often, unless I'm on the go and with my phone, and then I'll remember to turn it the other direction. Um, So, my last two updates on this particular journal entry were about my health. And the next one here is going to be definitely health related because that's what most of my blogging is about. But a kind of an emotional health thing, something that I have been suffering through and is getting worse. And never really realized how blessed I was until it was taken away from me, and that is my hearing. The treatment plan that I'm on right now is uses a drug called cisplatin. I know I've mentioned that before, but you'll recognize that platin sounds an awful lot like platinum, and it it does have a toxic nature to it. That's what makes me feel bad. That's what makes it need to be flushed out of my system quickly. But it also has a very prominent side effect with hearing loss. And it continues to get worse with each treatment that I get. I didn't know how bad it was getting. Well, I knew it was getting bad because I had already had to turn on the closed captioning on the television. Or turn it up to like 50 and be obnoxious to the whole family. I couldn't hear conversations in restaurants. I couldn't hear the waitress trying to take my order and talk to me. I definitely can't hear Abby whenever she mumbles, um, but that's kind of a tough one anyway. Um, but what hurt my feelings the most is whenever there was a conversation going on within the household, and I just wanted to hear it and be a part of it, and I couldn't. Um, People would mention to me, but I told you that. Well, they didn't look straight at me and tell me, so I didn't hear it. And it was getting kind of depressing. So I went to see the ear doctor. I had seen them earlier last year whenever I was having a lot of the swelling in my eyes. And they put tubes in my ears, and then I saw a physical therapist to try to drain the fluid out. What had happened is my brain radiation had destroyed the eustachian tubes that drain out of here. So I have tubes in my ears, permanent tubes in my ears, like a little kid would get, only these don't fall out. They stay for good. Uh, but anyway, I went back to that doctor and they did another test and were floored. She must have said three times in the over the course of a minute or two, your hearing is drastically reduced, much less than before. She also pointed out that my hearing loss was not because of a blockage like fluid or earwax or anything like that. Before it all came back, that any loss that I had was fluid that was in the way. She said it's definitely within the inner working of the ear now, and uh, much more serious. So I was fitted for two hearing aids, and when she put them in my ears, and these are just the demo hearing aids, I was speechless. I couldn't believe how bad I was hearing until I heard, well, again, I know it's nothing like someone who's deaf and suddenly hears for the first time or for the first time in many years. There's YouTube videos out there on that. But I felt that way. I felt like I was hearing sounds and lack of sounds because I have a lot of whistling and hissing in my ears at all times now. That's the background noise that makes it hard for me to hear other things too. But it, it was so crisp and clear. It brought tears to my eyes. I couldn't wait to sign up to get these hearing aids till I saw the price. And yeah, it's a whole lot of money, but not too much for quality of life. If I wanted to do it, Jeff was willing to do it. He'd be willing to do anything for me for quality of life. We at first got good news from the insurance company that said they would pay 80%, and then they called back a couple of days later to make sure we understood that they made a mistake, that they don't pay for them. But we can get 20% off if we use their preferred vendor. So that was kind of a downer for me. So what we decided to do in talking to the doctor about it is I'm going to switch off of cisplatin onto a sister drug of cisplatin called carboplatin. Still got the platin name in it, but is not known for hearing loss. And I may, I'm going to underscore that, have a chance of recouping some of the loss that I've had. It may not be permanent, although it may also be permanent. We'll see. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to switch to carboplatin and see if my hearing comes back and I don't have to worry about the continued loss of hearing or just living with it like it is today. If you're putting two and two together, we are taking a risk because we have had two nice reports back. Each 6 weeks I get scans, and the last 6 weeks I've had a reduction or of tumor size or no growth. In some of them, no growth. Some of them a reduction, and of course that one up here in my head that went completely away. And so it's working. And the very first doctor I interviewed when I went down this journey in Indianapolis said you never get off a winning horse. And I'm kind of getting off of a winning horse. I'm still going to have the trial drug, the same trial drug that is on the second day of that first cycle, but I'm changing from cisplatin to carboplatin for the first day, just to try to get rid of that side effect and improve quality of life. And we'll see how it goes. Let's see if there's anything else I was going to say. I think that's enough about my ears. Other things I mentioned, I had aches and pains that kind of scared me prior to my scan reading by the doctor. I've been getting pains in my back and side, and given the results, I thought that was going to say, hey, it's spread. Oh, in my thigh. I thought someone was going to say the lung tumors had grown, or the hip bone was growing down my thigh, and she didn't. What I presume is happening, which is good news, is the fact that things are shrinking and I'm feeling better each day. I'm being more active. And when I'm more active, I'm using muscles. Yeah, I used to think I had a sedentary job until I was really sedentary. But now I'm using muscles that I haven't used in a year, or it hasn't been a year yet, since last summer, and I'm feeling it. So I think that's just strain, and I need to remember my limitations, just like I have to remember my limitations on what kind of food will upset my stomach and such. I need to learn my limitations on how much physical activity to get in one day if I don't want to be hurting and take, you know, a step backwards, two steps forward each day and one step backward. I want to keep moving forward and be active and feel good about it. So no more, 16-hour days. I just need to have them a little shorter. Um, that's all that's going on health wise. Excuse me. I have, let's see, one, two, three, um, four, five more things I want to talk about. This is why it had to be a video journal entry, guys. But I'm going to close this one out as the end of all of the medical stuff. The next things I want to talk to you about are more about what's going on spiritually with me and emotionally, some of the things that have been eating at me. So just want to be completely honest and open with you all about that and ask for your prayers to get through them. And just keeping it real. I love you guys, and I will be back soon. Bye.